Dear students, welcome to my online class. Today we shall discuss a poem written by Gabriel Okara, a Nigerian poet, and the title of the poem is Once Upon a Time. This poem is prescribed for BA second semester Basic English, Rani Channamma University, Belagavi, and I am Rudresh Alludi, Assistant Professor, Shri C.C. Hebbal Government First Grade College, Golsangi. The poem Once Upon a Time is written by African Nigerian writer Gabriel Imomotimi Zibeng Bain Okara, who was born in the year 1921 and died very recently in 2019. Okara was a famous Nigerian poet and he was a novelist also. He is highly original and first African modernist poet. He is very original, highly original. He has written original poems or themes, or poems or novels with original themes. He depicts the moods, sights, and colors of Africa. He is best known for his early novel, The Voice, which was written or published in the year 1964. Some of his other important poems are The Call of the River Nun, Piano and Drums, You Laughed and Laughed and Laughed. About the poem Once Upon a Time. This poem is about artificial relationship and manners prevailing in the present world. ಪ್ರಸ್ತುತ ಜಗತ್ತಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವ ಈ ಕೃತಕ ಸಂಬಂಧ, ಕೃತಕ ವರ್ತನೆಗಳ ಕುರಿತು ಈ ಪದ್ಯ ಇದೆ. Written in the backdrop of Nigeria's independence from Britain, belongs to the black literature. ಈ ಪದ್ಯ ಈ ಕಪ್ಪು ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಿಸಿದ ಪದ್ಯ, ಅಂದರೆ ಕರಿ ಜನರ ಆಶೋತ್ತರಗಳನ್ನು, ಅವರ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆಗಳನ್ನು, ಅವರ ನೋವು ನಲಿವನ್ನು ಚಿತ್ರಿಸುವ ಕಪ್ಪು ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯದ ಒಂದು ಭಾಗವಾಗಿ ಈ ಪದ್ಯವಿದೆ. ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ರಿಟನ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಡ್ರಾಪ್ ಆಫ್ ನೈಜೀರಿಯಾಸ್ ಇಂಡಿಪೆಂಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಬ್ರಿಟನ್. ಬ್ರಿಟನ್ನಿಂದ ನೈಜೀರಿಯಾ ಸ್ವಾತಂತ್ರ್ಯವನ್ನು ಪಡೆದಿತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಅದರ ಹಿನ್ನೆಲೆಯನ್ನು ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬರೆದಿರುವ ಪದ್ಯ ಇದು. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಅನ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ಕಲೋನಿಯಲ್ ಪೋಯಿಟ್ ಇನ್ ವಿಚ್ ದ ಪೋಯಿಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ಸ್ ದಿ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಲೋನಿಯಲಿಸಮ್. Nigeria got freedom from Britain in the year 1960. And after that, the poet in this poem says that there have been many changes in the Nigerian society. The way of the people living has completely changed, it is shifted. This poem is a conversation between a father and his son. ಈ ಪದ್ಯ ಒಬ್ಬ ತಂದೆ ಮತ್ತು ಮಗುವಿನ ಒಂದು ಕನ್ವರ್ಸೇಷನ್, ಸಂವಹನದ ರೂಪದಲ್ಲಿ, ಸಂಭಾಷಣೆಯ ರೂಪದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಎ ನಾಸ್ಟಾಲಜಿಕ್ ಪೋಯಮ್, ಅಂದರೆ ಹಳೆಯದನ್ನು ನೆನಪಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳುವ ಒಂದು ಪದ್ಯ. ದ ಟೈಟಲ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಪೋಯಮ್ ಇಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಸೇಸ್ ಒನ್ಸ್ ಅಪಾನ್ ಅ ಟೈಮ್. ದಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಲಾಂಗ್ ಲಾಂಗ್ ಅಗೋ, ಅಂದರೆ ಹಿಂದೆ, ಒಂದಾನೊಂದು ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ. ಯು ಮೈಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಹರ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ಫೋಕ್ಸ್ ಟೇಲ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಚಿಲ್ಡ್ರನ್ ಟೇಲ್ಸ್, ಫೇರಿ ಟೇಲ್ಸ್, we hear this phrase once upon a time, which indicates a long ago, the time immemorial, or an indefinite time in the past. The father is active in the poem. He narrates his memories to his son, and he narrates his disappointments. He's disappointed. He laments that the people have lost the way of living. They are living dramatically. They are not actually real in their behavior. They pretend, he wants to say to his son. And the poem is in the form of dramatic monologue, which means somebody is speaking and there is someone is listening, and the listener is absent and the speaker is active. The father speaks, he narrates, he says his memory or his pain to his son, but the son doesn't react in the poem. We just assume that there is someone to listen, and the listener, he is the son of the narrator. So there are two characters in the poem. The one is the father and the next one is his son. The father seems to be mourning for the passing away of a way of life. He is mourning, he is not happy, he is sad, he is expressing his sadness, he is expressing his disappointment that the people, they are living artificially, and the way of life, it is completely changed. He is sad because the people are not leading a real life. They are imitating the another culture. He remembers the way people used to behave and interact each other. He remembers when he was child, how people used to behave. When he was child, how he was behaving. All those things he remembers, and he narrates that to his son. It's not just a personal pain of the speaker here. He feels his country is politically, the poet feels the country is politically free but culturally enslaved. According to the poet, these artificial behavior are not rooted in the Nigeria. They are influenced by other culture, mainly the British, the Westerners. So this artificiality has come from Western country to the Nigeria, to Africa. The father wants to unlearn the things that he has learned, and he requests his son to show him how to laugh like him, how to be innocent like him. So, the overall theme of the poem is that lamentation. The laments, Okara, the poet laments the lost innocence of youth, childhood. In it, he condemns the hypocrisy of adults, how adults are hypocrite, hemmed in and constrained by rules and conventions, adopting masks for different occasions. People, they adopt masks, they wear masks, they are not real, and for lying, cheating, and betraying. Whereas childhood is portrayed as time of honest laughter and spontaneity. That honest laughter and spontaneity is no more in the society. So he says to his son that he wants to relearn the innocence that the son has, and he wants to relearn that what he had when he was a child. Now we shall read the text and understand it. Once upon a time, son, they used to laugh with their hearts and laugh with their eyes. But now they only laugh with their teeth, while their eyes block cold eyes search behind my shadow. This is the first stanza of the poem. As I said, here the father is speaking and the son is a listener. But son never speaks here, son is a passive listener. We assume that the son is there to listen his father's talk. So the father says that they used to laugh with their hearts and they used to laugh with their eyes. And then who are those people they hear? That they refers to the Nigerian people in the past days. For him, for father, past days were better than the present days. So in the past days, people used to laugh with their hearts and they used to laugh with their eyes. But what is happening now? People have artificial laugh, artificial smile on their face. That they have weird a smile. They have a smile like a mask on their face. It's not a real smile. It's not the smile or the laugh that comes from the heart. That's only you can find on their face. They are not laughing, they are not smiling from their hearts. While their eyes block cold, I search behind my shadow. They think something and they pretend that they are very happy to others, or they are smiling at others, but they are not actually smiling in their heart. That's what father wanted to say. In the second stanza, the father says to his son, there was a time indeed they used to shake hands with their hearts, but that's gone, son. Now they shake hands without hearts, while the left hand search my empty pockets. ಆ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಜನ ಕೈ ಕುಲುಕ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ಕೈ ಕುಲುಕುವಾಗ ಆ ಕಾರ್ಯವನ್ನು ಹೃದಯದಿಂದ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. They used to shake hands with their hearts, but that's gone, son. Now it's no more, son. They shake hands without hearts, while their left hand search my empty pockets. They shake hands now also, but that shake hand doesn't come from the hearts. That means that they are not real in their action. They pretend again. So now in the third stanza, the father says, they say, feel at home, come again, they say. And when I come again and feel at home, once, twice, there will be no thrice. For then I find doors shut on me. Here no, when some guests come to the house, they used to say, come again and feel at home. At the present time, if a guest comes to house, they also say, feel at home and come again. But that they don't really tell it from their heart. They simply says as a courtesy, but they don't mean it. They don't say it from their heart fully. Again, if somebody goes to the house, they say feel at home and come again. But that come again, feel at home, it's okay for one time. If you go once or if you go twice, there will be no thrice. For then, the father says that I find doors shut on me. That means people shut the doors to the guest. So that guest and host feeling is also no more now in the society. There also artificiality has entered. So I have learned many things, son. Now there is a shift in the poem. The father says to his son that, son, I have learned many things. Son, I have learned to wear many faces like dresses, home face, office face, street face, host face, cocktail face, with all their conforming smiles like a fixed portrait smile. So now the speaker, the father, is also not innocent. He himself has become a kind of artificial person. Artificiality has influenced him in his behavior also. He himself finds artificiality, that rudeness, that unrealness. So he says that he has learned many things, and he has learned how to wear many faces like dresses. He has many faces: home face, office face, street face. His face changes according to the situation. So now he doesn't have one face which is real one. That's because that is the way of people living now. So he has many faces, and all those many faces have different smiles. And those smiles are like a fixed portrait smile. It's like a portrait which he could wear on his face. So he has learned to laugh with only his teeth. And I have learned to laugh with only my teeth and shake hands without my heart. He has learned this also. And I also have learned to say goodbye when I mean good riddance, to say glad to meet you without being glad, and to say it's been nice talking to you after being bored. So he feels something and he speaks which is contradictory to his feeling. That contradictory in his speech and in his action is the result of the confluence of two cultures according to the poet. And I have learned to laugh with only my teeth. He himself has learned how to laugh only with his teeth, not with his heart. He knows how to shake hands without his heart. He also has learned to say goodbye when he wanted to say good riddance. Sometimes he said glad to meet you, but he was not glad to say that. And to say it's been nice talking to you, but actually he is feeling very much bored in his mind. So that's how he has learned many things, artificial things, unreal things, unreal talks. So now, at the end of the poem, the father confesses to his son. He says, "But believe me, son, I want to be what I used to be when I was like you. I want to unlearn all these muting things. Most of all, I want to relearn how to laugh, for my laugh in the mirror shows only my teeth like a snake's bare fangs. So, show me, son, how to laugh. Show me how I used to laugh and smile once upon a time when I was like you." So, in these two stanzas, we find that the father is confessing to his son. ತನ್ನ ತಪ್ಪೊಪ್ಪಿಗೆಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ, ಅಥವಾ ತನ್ನ ಒಂದು ನಿವೇದನೆಯನ್ನು ಮಗನಿಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ. ಏನದು? "Believe me, son, I want to be what I used to be when I was like you." He pretends, he behaves artificially, and he knows it that he is behaving artificially. So he wants to be true, he wants to be real in his behavior. He wants to be like that child. He wants to be how he used to be when he was a child. So he says to the son that he want to unlearn all these muting things that he has learned now. Most of all, I want to relearn how to laugh. He says that he want to learn how to laugh, relearn how to laugh. He want to unlearn and relearn the behavior. "For my laugh in the mirror shows only my teeth like a snake's bare fangs." So he realizes that when he laughs, it's not true. He laughs in the mirror. When he laughs in the mirror, it shows only his teeth like a snake's bare fangs. Snake, in the Western culture, it is known for cunningness. So he says that there is a cunningness in his behavior. So he's ashamed of that. So he wants to unlearn his behavior, unlearn the things that he has learned, and he want to relearn again. So he requests the son to teach him, to show him how to laugh. He wants to laugh and smile like once upon a time how he used to laugh and smile. So that's how he, he wants a complete change in his behavior as well as behavior of the people in the society. So it is not just a personal poem, it's not just a personal confession, it's not just a subjective poem. It is about the whole nation, it is about the whole Nigerian community which has lost the way of living, the past way of living, and living artificially. So, as I said, there is a post colonial tone in the poem. Post colonialism, we study the effects of the ruled country on the country that was being ruled by them. So here, all these dramatic, all these pretensions, unreal behavior are the results of the influence of the British and the British rule. So the country is politically free, it is culturally enslaved by the Britain. That's what he wanted to convey. The poet of the poem, Gabriel Wakara, wanted to convey to his readers. So to convey that, he uses some metaphors and images which has enriched this poem. So try to read it and understand it. And when you're reading, try to understand the images that he has learned, like snake, ice cold eyes. So these are all images. Through these images, he has conveyed his bitterness towards the colonial rule, colonial regime. So that was once upon a time for you. Thank you for listening.